Hey everybody, hello, Lisa Marie Thomas here. I thought I would share with you something that I've learned. It has been 8 months now since my weight loss surgery. I had the vertical gastric sleeve and I have lost, let's see, it's been 8 months. I've lost 103 pounds, 0.6. What? I know. It just blows my mind how crazy that is. But I've learned so many different things, and one of the things I've learned is there is a difference between taking a bite of food and having a portion of food cut up for you. And my thing that I was going to show you is a perfect example of a Fiber One bar. So this little bar comes in a nice small package. You know, it's individually wrapped, which is awesome for us because, you know, there you go. And early on, I really couldn't have eaten the whole square. It's just my tummy was smaller. But I want to show you. Here is the size of the square. Doesn't look that big, but it's kind of thick. I have learned in order to chew all of my bites thoroughly, they need to be small. And that's the recommendation of a lighter me as well as bariatric nutritionists that work with bariatric surgeons here in the States. They suggest making your bites the size of a lima bean. A lima bean, you know, those beans we pick out of our stuff, or basically the size of your pinky nail. And that is so true. You really need to have a smaller bite. Even if you do one the size of your thumb, that could be too big. And of course your other fingers, your middle finger, your pointer finger, that you can work your way up to bites about that big, but really if you can stay with bites the size of your pinky, it's really better for you, especially early on. So what I learned is there's certain bars that cut up nicely into some really amazing portions. One of them happens to be this Fiber One lemon bar. There's a cheesecake one, there's a chocolate brownie fudge something one, whatever. So this is that bar cut up into portions. Now I just kind of broke my rule about this being the size of my pinky, and it really is closer to the size of my thumb, but that's like a max. That's a max size right there. So the Power Crunch bars, as yummy and amazing as they are, very dessert tasting-y, pretty low in sugars, high in protein. These, because it's this wafer thing right here, very hard to cut into portion sizes. Very hard. And it's very hard to bite off a piece that's good for you to chew. I've learned if you take too big of a bite, and we're supposed to chew at least 15 chews at least. 15 chews per bite, up to like 30 if you can, depending on what it is. When you take too big of a bite, your mouth is filled up with all that stuff and you can't chew it all. Your saliva can't do what it's supposed to do to help turn that food into mush, like a sauce, that you can then swallow and it goes into your stomach and it just helps the process of it. Nature Valley has a fruit and nut bar that's a little firmer, kind of oatmeal-y, cuts up very nicely, and so do the Fiber One bars. They cut up really cool too. So I'm going to be kind of gross, maybe TMI for you, but unless you eat like truly a bird squirrel and you can just bite a little tiny bite like this, if you can do that through this whole bar, more power to you. That is a proper size, not much bigger. But what normally happens is you think you're taking a small bite, and this is what you get. Look how big that is. And I'm telling you, to try and chew this 15 to 30 bites or chews, it's going to take more to chew this, and your mouth isn't going to allow you to do it. I don't know why. I don't know how that works. I don't know if it's our brain or what it is exactly. But for me, to try and eat a bar like this, I mean, even if you can look at the difference in the corners, this was my tiny bite. This was a normal bite. And it wasn't even a normal bite. That was just, I was trying to be smaller. Can you see that? You don't want bites like this. So a big bite like that is going to cause tightness and a pressure, a restriction, a fullness, a pain, because now when you chew that up, you're going to swallow it, and it hasn't had the chance to go down the way it is. So this bar, I actually was able to cut in half and then in half. So I had 4 sections, and then I turned it and I cut each of those in half and then half again, 4 sections. So I made 16 bites out of this. And I'm thinking, if you took bites like this out of this, so 1, 2, 3, you might have 6 bites, maybe. And that's not good for you. It's not good for your stomach. It's not good for you. You can't chew that way. You can't take bites that way. And when you start getting bars that have more substance in them, that have more fiber, maybe they have oatmeal and nuts and berries and things like that. If you take big old hunkin' bites like this, I'm telling you, it is not going to go down very well. And you're going to be frustrated, and you're going to think, wow. And you're going to be done, and so that was 6. You're going to be done in 6 minutes versus 6 to 12 minutes, depends on how much you rest between the bites. I try to always rest 30 seconds between bites or more. This, because it's 16 bites, that's 32 minutes. If you think you take one and rest a little bit, and then you take one again, that's a whole lot more. It's going to be lasting. It's going to give your stomach the chance to work and do the things it's supposed to do. When you rush the process, you're undoing all of the stuff that they gave you this tool for. You're overeating, you're eating too fast, and you're putting too much in your mouth at one time. You can't do that. You can't do that to yourself. You really need, if you can, by all means, cut up your portions. Start using a fork. Start using toothpicks. Poke each bite and enjoy and savor that bite. I'm like still tasting the lemon that just barely got in my mouth from that bite. It was just so yummy. So, and did you know that your taste buds can be a monitor to help you know when you're done with your food? Because as you taste your food, your taste buds are working and doing what they're supposed to do. But when that saliva, brain, taste thing starts happening, pretty soon your food stops having a flavor. So don't keep eating it just because you have to eat it. And by all means, if you're eating this bar and these are too many bites for you, you can't finish it, don't finish it. It's okay. Save it for later, put it on the other side, mix and match, and have a little trail mix, so to speak, of bars that you didn't finish. I mean, that's kind of a good treat. But there's no rule that you have to eat whatever the portion is. You have to listen to your stomach, and your stomach will tell you when you're full. And some days you're full after 8 of your 16 bites, and sometimes you can eat all 16. It's just how our stomachs are. So if you really are all about quantity and having a bigger portion, this square like this looks really small. It looks really small. Taking bites like this, it's going to disappear really fast and you're not going to have time to get that in there. But taking bites, that bite fell apart. But taking bites like this, you're going to have quantity. And it's going to last longer. You're going to enjoy it better. And it's just better for you. So, kind of my tip on, I cut up everything. If I can cut it up, I cut it up and I make it bite-sized portions. I pretty much cut up like you're cutting for a toddler. That's what works for me. Some people can take these tiny bites and nibble their way through the whole bar. If you can, more power to you. Me, I have more mindless eating, trying to take bites like this. And I always take too big of a bite, so it's just what works for me. And I love these Crunch Bars that, man, they are really hard and messy to cut up. So what I normally do is I cut it in strips all the way across, and I usually can get, so 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I can get 8 or 9, maybe even 10. And then it depends. If I get 10, then I cut each bite in half. If I only get 8 or less, then I make 3 bites across the bar. It's me. I'm weird, but that's what works for me. And that's what I know is going to be a long-lasting, healthy habit and staying thin, because that's what I want. So I know it sounds like a lot of work, and I know it might frustrate some people, but I'm telling you, cutting things into portions is so the right thing to do, and it's better for you. So there you are. Have a great day. My bites versus portions tip for the day. See ya.